Hello guys, do you need some more festivity in your Blender scene or anything like that? And you want some flashing lights and party lights and all of that kind of stuff? You know, it might sound complicated, but it's not. So, let's make them nice and low poly so that they'll look good from a distance when we put them on as a particle system. So let's start by deleting the default cube and let's add an ecosphere. Then just turn it down to 1. You can turn down the radius too if you'd like, but it doesn't really matter. And then head over to the shading tab. This is a tutorial on procedural textures. So that's what we're going to be doing mostly. So we'll start by shading it smooth. And we can click new, and now you see we have this principled BSDF, but we don't want it. We can click on it and press delete and it will go away. So now we are going to add an emission shader. This will make it glow. And first, since we're in Eevee, let's go over to the render properties and turn on ambient occlusion, bloom, which is probably the most important. Let's just turn down the radius a little, and we can plug in the emission to the surface. Turn it up, and look, we've got kind of a blooming thing. See, you know, it'll look good, but just try to keep it in moderation. And turn down the strength of the emission too. Just don't make it way too bright. But you want it bright enough to make it bloom a little bit. So look, now we have our light. Well, kind of. So, we don't, for one thing, we don't have a lot of lights. And for another thing, it's white and it doesn't flash, so no problem. So let's duplicate it by pressing Shift D and then Y to move along the Y axis. Then press Shift R. And now we just have a few to work with so that we know what we're doing. So, we can select any one of these, and let's go to Input and add an object info. This is kind of advanced, but not hard, if you know what I mean. Then let's add a converter and a color ramp. We can, instead of pressing add, we can also do Shift A and it'll open that little menu, but I do both. So we can plug the color into the color, and look, now we can kind of control that. But no, we need a rainbow. So we can click on the first thing and make it white, and then turn up the saturation so it's at a hue of 0. And then a saturation of 1. And now let's move let's turn this next one to pink. And then let's add another one in between. And we'll slide it down here a little, and let's make it yellow. And now we'll add another, and slide it away from those two, and you can make this one green, and then you add another, pull it over here, and let's make this one blue. You can see where I'm going now, I think, hopefully, and then you move over here and make it a darker blue. So now, look, it's kind of, it's mixing all those colors. Let's start by clicking this little drop-down menu and distribute the stops evenly. But now, we want them to be different colors. So it's simple, we just plug the random into the factor. And look, now if we keep on duplicating these objects, look, we get different colors. We duplicate this entire thing, Shift D, woo, look, it's all different colors. Isn't that just really cool? You can control, using these little things, which colors are most prominent, but we'll do that later. But they're still not flashing. You press the space bar and play the animation player, and no, it's not flashing. So let's add an input and do a value. And then, okay, I do not know that much about expressions, but what I do know is that they are awesome. So we do hashtag and frame. So now, look, as we play the animation, look, this little value gets bigger. So now what we can do is, we're getting into a lot of math nodes. We're going to use a bit of trigonometry in here too to smooth things out. So, it's not going to be too complicated though. But look, and then you can do frame slash to divide by, and then let's try divide by 10. Or let's do 100 actually. And then just wait a moment. See, they're changing color. And that's just really cool. If you want it to be sharper, you can do constant, and then it'll change color constantly. Just play it. Yep, see? Look at that. First off, let's just name our first ecosphere party light. Party light. Oh, and don't forget the register trademark symbol. You can press the Windows button and period. Just a moment. Just in the search bar, press press the Windows button and the period, and then type register trademark, and look, it's a party light with a registered trademark, not party lighter. Party light likes to do that. Look, so now we have a party light and a registered trademark. How cool is that? So next, we will make it better because it's bad. So it doesn't work too well. So let's drag this out a little and pull it down. No, we don't want to pull that down. So yes, we don't need these, so we can right click on this, and then we can close the area, and then we can close the area here too. So now I have a bigger shader editor space, but we want to add a timeline. So let's do a vertical split. Let's actually do a horizontal split, and then put up here, and then change this to a timeline. So now look, that's a really cool thing of about Blender's workspaces. You can create your own custom ones, and we're using the shading one, but as you can see, we've just modified it. So let's pull this up a bit. So you can see it starts to go away around, it starts to stop changing color around 80 frames or so. So we're going to want to divide this more like 500, depending on where your animation is. But what if you don't want to divide by anything? What if you want it to go on forever? So as long as your frame, what if you want it to go on until the end, no matter what, even if you take the end 2 million frames out? So what we're gonna do is duplicate this by pressing Shift D, and then let's change this to ping pong. Okay, this is where stuff starts to get kind of I don't know how to explain them. Look, it's working a bit better now, and it's kind of changing color, though. We don't want we want like 50 actually. Look, they're changing color. That is just a really cool thing. We can also change the scale to them. And if we want it to be more of a rainbow, we can change this to linear. So it's much smoother now. We do not actually need to do any trigonometry, and you can do trigonometry functions to make the kind of cycle smoother. So, and here's a tip: if you have these in a ring, what you can do is you can duplicate the math node again, push it in here, change it to a sine, and that will smooth out the ping pong. I kind of like to do that anyway. It takes a bit of my computer's CPU, but look, it's doing 25 FPS, so it can't be too bad. 25 FPS is kind of the default, so that's what you should expect, depending on what you set your scene from. But this is not a tutorial on stuff like that. This is a tutorial on making party lights. So, you see, we didn't have to do any keyframing at all, and these are the same material, though they're flashing independently, and I've always just found that really cool. And turn up the mission strength. Booey. So yeah, I like change this so that I don't know. Let's try 0.01 to see what happens. You could try it. No, that's horrible, so you don't want to do that. So okay, here's a quick brief on how color ramps work. You plug in the factor. If the factor is 0, it'll go to red. If the factor is 1, it'll go to pink. If the factor is somewhere in between, it'll go to anywhere else. So it's really cool. I use them 2 trillion% of the time for just about everything, whether it's a black and white color ramp or add a rainbow to it. There's so many things you can do with it. Okay, and if you want it to go really fast, that's not working. That's why you would have to change the ping pong to like, say 2. Look, but that's pink too much of the time, which means that it's not working too well. So let's do 0.7 or so. yes, that's kind of working, but yeah, let's do 50 instead. You see, that's just, it's working really well right now. And they're changing color. We're gonna delete that one because it's kind of being weird. Okay, here's part 2. We are gonna make a ring of them because everything needs a ring of party lights. Anyway, let's go ahead and add a curve, a Bezier curve, and then go into edit mode and delete both vertices. Wow. And then add a circle. You can scale it up by pressing S, and woo, you have your circle. Let's go back. If you want the string to be invisible, leave it as is. But if you want it to be visible as a string in your render, what you can do is turn up the depth to like 0.1. Oh, that's way too much. 0.01 might be more like it. 1/10 of that. Wahaha. I like math. It's cool. It lets you do so many things. So, look, so now you have your little string, but you still cannot add a particle system to it to add your light. So why does it have the particle menu? Why? Yeah, it's easy. Convert it to mesh. Now it is mesh. It is meshy mesh. And that means that it's just like these spheres. So go ahead and delete these, the one, but leave a party light. Remember, just leave the party light. You can hide it if you'd like. So I press H to hide it, and now what I can do is select this and add a particle system. Make it hairy. Ew, it's like that hairy donut that I made a long time ago. I never posted it, but it was awful. It looked moldy. So let's render it as an object. Nothing. But the object, make a party light. Party lights. Voila. Look. Yes. It is no good. Don't worry. 1,000 is too many party lights. You want, like, for some reason they're random. I don't really know nor care why, because I kind of like random things better, but it can be weird. You can also turn up the scale randomness, so I don't think we want to do that. There's so many different settings you can change, but I like to do kind of small. Look now. And look at these. And look, they're like these pulsating colory things. Ugh. Okay. If you like it the way it is, stop watching. But I am Forrest, and I am 12 years old, and I just cannot stop adding more integration. So let's click on the party light again, and let's unplug the random. No, now they're all blue and they're changing color. Help me. Nah, that's the random just makes different ones a random color. But now, check this out. Look, it's like this kind of weird thing. But, well, we don't want this kind of weird thing, whatever this kind of weird thing is. We want something that works better. I see you do. Okay. So, let's change up the scale. And look what we've got. We've gotten this little, like, pulsating thing. It's like pulsing back and forth. So let's change the scale even more and make this frame divided by 5 again. Just like we, look at this. Look, it's this rainbow. It's bouncing back and forth. Though, it looks like we have some trouble. We want, this to be even more. But still, no, that doesn't work. So, we can do a multiply. Duplicate this add, and then change it to multiply. And look, it's already a bit better, but let's do it like 0.1. So it's kind of working a little bit, but still not as much as you'd probably hope. So just you can change the values and see if it starts to work. And look, it's bouncing back and forth. We can try it without that sign. And that's working better, and yeah, and I like that. The sign only looked good when we were doing random. So look at this. It's like, so now we can hide the party light again, and and press H, and look, since it's using the location of these, then we plug it in and you can kind of see how it works. This is limitless. This is just one little application, it's crazy. Party Lights, Yahoo! Yeah, just remember, add the registered trademark just to make it mark soon. Though I don't think they're actually registered trademark. They're just more fun. Haha. Anyways, see you next time, guys. This was a really cool tutorial, and learning a lot more about these procedural texture nodes, which are right now, which are just really cool, and it's just a really cool thing to do. So I hope this was a really enjoyable tutorial and you actually got something out of it. So thank you for watching, and if you don't mind, could you click that subscribe button, because it really helps me out. It makes me really happy at this point. Every single subscriber is a big deal to me, and I really like knowing that people actually like these tutorials. So thank you for watching. I hope you have a good day of learning Blender.